Peter, when you see, not just here but in Europe, leftist presidents and leaders trying to sick mobs of people on the police, it's like something out of The Road Warrior. If the police start not responding, which is already happening in more than 10 major cities, from L.A. to Chicago to Philadelphia to Minneapolis, I mean, just all over, because they're getting shot at, not getting supported, then everything collapses, looting begins. Why would the social engineers be wanting to do that? I mean, are they wanting to hasten a collapse? I thought the Democrats would want to stall a collapse out until a Trump presidency and blame it on him. Or am I reading too much into this? They just have leftist ideology.
I think the Democrats are pretty sure that Hillary's got this in the bag. So I don't think they're planning on a Trump presidency. We'll see if the voters could surprise the pollsters just the way they did in the UK in voting for the Brexit. But, you know, there is going to be, I think, rioting and looting, especially when we have a currency collapse, because I think then you're going to have shortages. I think the government is going to impose price controls, and I think there's going to be a problem for people to get goods and services that are in short supply, and the government creating artificial shortages rather than allowing prices to find a true market level. But, you know, the politicians always come in and try to take advantage of a crisis and use it to expand their power and promise more government help is on the way from the crisis. But I think by then, people might have figured out that it's all this government help that is the problem. It's government that's the crisis, and the real solution is to get rid of government and go back to the free market principles that made America great in the first place.
Let me ask you this. Internal pollsters with Trump, who are very accurate folks, you know, they're not putting out pipe dreams. They say he's dead heat in most areas. In battleground states, he's 4 to 5 points, some areas 7 points ahead. But Hillary just keeps putting out fake polls saying she's winning by 15 points. You're an astute guy. I know there's a lot of election fraud involved. That gives her a lot of points. A lot of folks are embarrassed to say they're for Trump, so that kind of gives him a leg up in some respects. But I got to say, I mean, if Trump really does get rejected, then it shows that America almost deserves what it gets, because he's not perfect. I know you disagree with some of his economic policies, so do I, like the low interest rates. But at a certain point, I mean, if America rejects Trump, they almost deserve what they get.
Yeah, and, you know, if people don't know that Hillary is a crook based on what just happened with this FBI investigation, where basically, you know, they come clean about all the horrible things that she did, all the things, gross negligence, things that no rational person would have assumed you could do. She did all this stuff, and she lied repeatedly under oath to Congress. Yet despite all this, the FBI says, you know, we don't think there's any evidence here, because even though she did all this really bad stuff, we don't think she realized it was bad. And, you know, and the guy started talking about mens rea, which is your state of mind. And he said, you know, we don't punish people who don't realize they're doing something wrong. Yeah, what about my father? I mean, you know, my father believed 100% in what he was doing. He did not believe he was breaking any laws. He believed he was following the law and following the Constitution. But in his case, mens rea went out the window, and they put him in jail as a political prisoner. Does any rational person believe that Hillary Clinton, a lawyer, a trained lawyer from a high-powered law firm, who was 8 years the first lady of the United States, was a senator from New York, and then the Secretary of State, does not realize that what she did was wrong, that having a private server unsecured in her own basement and using her own personal cell phone
what about the tarmac
to communicate
meeting?
top secret information, you know, from foreign countries, that she doesn't know that that's wrong? If she doesn't know that that's wrong, she is not only incompetent to be president, she shouldn't even be mayor of a small town, you know. But I think she knew exactly what she was doing, because she knew she was involved in so much illegal stuff with her and her husband, so many bribes and kickbacks and all kinds of stuff, that she wanted to hide her communications from the American public. And in so doing, she jeopardized the national security of the United States. She shouldn't be in the White House. She should be in the big house along with her husband.
In 1993, Hillary Clinton ordered Vince Foster's dead body to be moved and dumped to avoid a murder investigation. New York Times best-selling author Roger Stone names names. The Clintons' War on Women, in stores now.
Last week, we pointed out the globalists have declared open season on free individuals and nations worldwide. When the British left the euro, the globalists decided to go into high gear. They've now announced that Hillary won't be indicted no matter how many crimes she commits. It's time for us to take our matters into our own hands. The globalist warfare model is siege. It wants to make us dependent. It wants to cut off our economies. It wants to be able to set up a worldwide financial crisis where there are food shortages that are already happening in most parts of the world, where they basically bring us to our knees and where we capitulate to their demands. That's why we're extending the July 4th sale right through next week, because it's all about declaring your independence from the globalists. You don't just declare your independence when you buy high-quality storable foods or water filters or shortwave radios at InfoWarsStore.com. You declare your independence when you share links of articles and videos and information from the broadcast, because there's a war on for your mind. It's a total 360 win at InfoWarsStore.com.